up, everybody? Jose Daniel here.
And I'm Angelica.
And today we're going to be talking about a topic that I am very passionate about. I think everybody should engage in this habit, and that is taking care of the physical area of your life. What do you think about this topic, Angelica? Do you think that I am passionate about this?
Do I think? No. I know you live and breathe sports, like literally. I kid you not. The first time I met you, one of the thoughts that crossed my mind was, I have never met someone so full of energy as you. Like, if you weren't playing soccer, you were working out. If you weren't working out, you were playing basketball. If you weren't playing basketball, you were running outside. Like, there was
I had my priorities
something.
straight in university.
Holy cow. I was like, bro, chill. Do you ever get tired? Like, go to sleep. Go watch a movie. Do something. Like, and we're all like, hey, let's go hang out. You're like, no, I gotta go work out. Like, what?
Yeah, because that's a reality about us individuals that have made working out a priority. We don't feel like we can be
No, I get
ourselves
that,
and
yeah.
really live
Yeah.
and be ourselves if we don't do that, which is so important to us.
But for the rest of us who are not obsessed and who actually experience a little bit of struggle with developing discipline when it comes to working out daily, I think this conversation will be really practical, because I think everyone's going to see the two sides of what a physical fitness journey may look like. So
Absolutely.
Let's start with you.
100%. Well, so just so that you know a little bit about myself, I grew up in a family that is very active. Even to this day, my parents are, gym goers every single day, even if it's at least to go and walk in the treadmill.
Yeah.
This is something that they have done throughout their entire life. My mom was a track star in Colombia when she was a teenager. My dad, he grew up in a family that they all love to run, and some of them are boxers. So sports and fitness has always been a part of my family. Of course, I was born into that family. So naturally, when I started growing up and I was 4 years old, I remember that's when they put me into soccer. I played in a soccer academy back home in Venezuela. I also used to swim in competitive swimming. I also did competitive tennis. And then when I came to Canada when I was 13, I joined a soccer team, a rep soccer team. And then I went to university and I played soccer there as well. My last year of university, I had a little bit more time in my hands, so I joined the basketball team as well. So anyways, sports clearly has always been a part of my life. How about you?
So my journey was a little bit different, and I think it had a lot to do with just the opportunities that I had. So I grew up with a single mom, so it's not like we could afford, joining recreational sports and things like that. But, in school and daycare, of course, like, there were always opportunities to be outside.
You say daycare?
Daycare, yeah. But daycare, they took us on walks all the time.
That is true. I gotta give it to them. Yes.
Anyways, with my sister, we would always walk to and from school, which was a solid walk every day. Okay, look at me here trying to justify my physical activity growing up. But truly, I didn't grow up with that mindset of oh, exercise and physical activity is something that you have to do every single day for your well-being. It just was oh, we went for a walk today, and it wasn't because of exercise. It was just for fun. We went to ride rollerblades for fun. We went to bike ride for fun.
Right.
And it was never this rigid, oh, I didn't do exercise today, I'm struggling. You know what I mean? And then in university was when I finally realized, okay, maybe I should start implementing a little bit of exercise. And I kid you not, the first time I did an actual workout, I went early in the morning. I had a training session with a gym trainer, and I beforehand I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get hungry, so I'll have a banana. I'm not even joking. I only had time to eat half a banana. I guess I worked out so hard, I threw up that banana. So that was the state of where I was at when I started. To this day, I'm geez, I don't even think I went that hard. It was just an assessment of how I could do. And I ended up.
It was just an introductory training session to show you around the gym and show you a few workouts.
But anyways, that's basically been my journey. Like it's been an uphill climb for sure.
Right. Yeah, and it's possible that those who are listening to us, they, maybe find themselves where you used to be.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
themselves where I am, or maybe somewhere in the
Exactly.
middle.
Exactly. And
And again, not that I'm crazy, crazy to the point that I cannot live without exercising. I do think it's extremely important. I listen to my
yeah.
body as well, so I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
I have to slow it down a little bit
Yes.
more. But it is definitely a very integral part of who I am.
Yes.
Right?
And I do want to say that I think maybe since about 2018, that's when like I definitely became very disciplined and was like, okay, let's start this fitness journey, which has come to a pause, or like not a pause, but it has adjusted a lot now that I am postpartum and since having Camila, but still it definitely is something that is a lot more prevalent and important for me now than it was when I was younger, for sure.
Yes, I'm a witness to that. I'm a witness to that. Okay, this is a question that comes to my mind that can also help those who are listening. The question is, for those of us that like to work out,
Yeah.
things get challenging sometimes.
Mm.
Motivation is a big factor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that this is something that stops many people from going to the gym. They start very strong. I can think of individuals that make New Year's resolutions. Once January start, they're
Yeah,
on fire to
yep.
pursue after their
Mm-hmm.
their goals, and then after the second or third week hits, and their motivation starts coming down, and they're like, "Oh man, this is hard, and I'm not really seeing many results."
Yeah.
They begin to become uh, maybe
Unmotivated,
discouraged,
yeah.
unmotivated, and then they stop going. So when you are feeling this way, and I've been there before as well, what is something that you remind yourself, or what is it that you do in order to stay motivated
Yeah.
and not give up and get off the train?
Yeah, so at the beginning, it definitely was a challenge for me to stay motivated. And I find that like implementing a workout discipline in your life requires that exactly is discipline. And I think along with gaining strength in physical fitness, we are also exercising the muscle of discipline when we're learning to work out. So with discipline, I think comes the importance of recognizing why you're doing what you're doing. So for me, two things that I would always like to do was remind myself of my goals. Remind myself like, why did I even start this in the first place? Like nobody goes and lifts 50 pounds for fun. Like we really do it for a reason, and the reason is to get stronger. The reason is to be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? And if I forget that, then easily I'll go and be a couch potato the rest of the week, right? So reminding myself of my goals. And if my goals, I realize like, I'm not really aligning with this goal anymore, or it's not really bringing me that much motivation, or if it is a little bit unattainable, then I adjust my goal and I make sure I'm always excited to reach that goal. And then the second one is re-energizing my routine. So maybe I've come to a point in my routine where I've kind of become stagnant and I'm kind of doing the same thing over and over.
So it becomes to turn boring, you
Yeah,
would say?
yeah. And
Okay.
so I would maybe revamp my workout routine or try something new, or maybe pause the workout plan that I'm doing for maybe a day or two and try maybe workout classes, or just something different just to shake things up a little bit. One of my favorite things to do is Zumba. So so definitely on the days when I'm feeling unmotivated, but I know I need to get the workout in, I'll do Zumba. But aside from that, I just want to mention it's on the days that we're most unmotivated that I think the workout counts the most. And we can talk a little bit more about that later, but I think that's something that I've learned in this journey for sure.
That's awesome. So what I heard you say is that it's important to have a goal. And the goal is something that keeps you focused. And when you're feeling discouraged, it can sort of help you stay focused in why is it that you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I agree 100%. I have had conversations with young people that tell me, I want to start, but I don't know how to start. and I don't even know what it is that I want to do. I just know that I want to go. And I think that's a good thing. You know, if you know that you want to go, the main thing is start. Even if you don't really know
Yeah.
what it is that you want to achieve,
Yeah. And
when
even
you
if you
have,
don't know what you're doing and you feel like you look funny, you know, when people walk into the gym and they're like, they look like they're lost, you
they're a
know what I
little bit
mean? Or they're
lost.
self conscious that they'll look like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Go anyways.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, the focus is extremely important. The goal is very important as well. And this is something that I have also shared with other people. Sometimes our goals need to be readjusted as we engage
Hmm.
in what we're doing and as we progress in the journey.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an example. For me, when I first started, I just wanted to be extremely strong and look good.
Mm.
And when I began to work out, yes, I began to reach those goals, but it started to affect me in other areas of my fitness.
Hmm.
So because I was focused on the way that I look, and I think this goes, this can take the conversation to another route about,
Yeah.
our motivations and the reason why we do certain things. But I know that my motivation for working out when I first started was to look good,
Hmm.
so that other people would notice,
Hmm.
so that I would get compliments for the way that I looked. And I did reach that goal. I looked good. People used to tell me, "Man, you look so good, so strong, etc." And I did notice that that was making its way to my heart, and it was affecting my ego. And it's highly possible that some of us may want to exercise because we want to get praise from other people. You look so good, etc., etc. But it's something that I had to readjust, and I actually started changing my way of working out because I didn't really want to be a bodybuilder.
Right.
I wanted to be an athlete, which is what I love doing, playing
Right.
sports.
Hmm.
So why would I train like a bodybuilder if I'm not a bodybuilder? So I
Yeah.
started working out as an athlete, and now I am actually enjoying it way
Hmm.
more. I feel like my motivation is no longer, oh, you're my ego, the way that I look, the comments that I'm getting from people, but rather it's about, I love playing sports. So I'm taking care of my body so that I can perform well when I play.
Yeah.
I also feel more comfortable about my body, feel lighter. I can actually move now,
Yeah, I remember
right?
that during the time when you were bodybuilding,
Mm-hmm.
um, it really impacted you in soccer. I remember there
Yes,
were times where you would just like get winded and you're like, man, I feel so slow. I'm not agile.
right,
Like I'm struggling to do like change in directions and so I think it also had a lot to do with the fact that you were gaining muscle mass
right,
in different ways that your body wasn't used to.
right.
And yet you were expecting it to perform in a way that you were not training.
Yeah, and it started really affecting me,
Mm-hmm.
even in my spiritual life, because I feel like I began to worship my body, worship the whole process. And this is something I've said before: when you worship something, you will never have enough of it. So I was never truly satisfied
Yeah.
with the way that I looked, regardless of how many comments I got from other people, because I worshiped the process and the way that I looked. So it wasn't until I reevaluated the purpose and the reason and my motivations for working out that I began to find true joy
Hmm.
in exercising and taking care of my health.
Yeah. I really like that you mentioned, reevaluating your goals. And I think part of that also includes making sure that your goals are SMART. Have you heard of that acronym
I
before?
have,
SMART
yes.
goals. Yeah, so this is definitely like a teacher thing. At least that's where I learned it was in teaching. But basically making sure that your goals are specific, that's a big one. And I say this because when I first started working out, my goal was just when you'd ask me what my goal was, it was just overall health and just to be stronger and more fit. And you see how the goal is very ambiguous.
Hmm.
Like there's no way to measure if I'm stronger, more fit, or, healthier. Like, maybe in some sense you could say, wow, she can lift that now, good. But like, how do I know I've achieved the goal? It's not very specific, right? And so there's other meanings for the rest of the letters. But for me, making specific goals is the one that I've recognized is so important, because in the end, if you don't know what your target is, you'll just be like moving aimlessly. And that really isn't helpful for anybody. And you're kind of wasting your time, I would say. I think, and maybe you will be able to exercise and feel good or whatever, but that motivation will go down or will go away over time when you don't even realize, like, what am I working towards? I'm just, kind of going to the gym, but don't really know what I'm trying to achieve here besides like overall fitness, and how do I know I'm there?
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely. That's very important. Something else that comes to my head is that we've been talking a lot about exercising and going to the gym, but exercise goes beyond going to the gym, right? And this is important for, maybe, as you said before, individuals that feel scared to step into the gym because they feel like they'll be lost, and maybe, or maybe they're insecure about the way that they look and they don't want to expose themselves in that sense. So it's about moving, it's about staying active. That's what physical activity is all about. And when we begin to see it that way, it really changes everything. Exercise is not about lifting iron and feeling a lot of pain after I finish this. No, it's about staying active, moving, strengthening my bones, strengthening my muscles, working out my heart, which is a very important muscle of
It's
our
probably
body.
like the most important thing to work out. In fact, like the fact that there's so many bodybuilders, for instance, who can lift so many pounds, but yet you put them on a treadmill and they're like dead after 2 minutes. It goes to show, like, your cardiovascular health.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can determine like your life
Yeah.
at any moment. It stops, your life is over,
It's
right?
extremely
So,
important. Yeah. So again, the overall picture of what it means to take care of your health is about being active.
yeah, and
Right.
in whatever way you enjoy, I think is the most important part. Like, if you do enjoy weightlifting, that's awesome. But I would say, for instance, I've seen a lot of people starting to do running, and running or even walking is like one of the cheapest
Yeah.
and easiest ways to get healthy. And aside from that, I think what I most have enjoyed about participating and being more intentional about physical fitness is just the almost the spiritual journey that you go on as well. Because aside from just getting stronger, faster, whatever, you learn these qualities that make you a better person. Like the fact that you are able to be disciplined, responsible. I think you even start to prioritize your time and the way that you use your time better. And it just kind of like infiltrates all these other areas of your life.
Now that you mentioned this, it reminds me of a quote that I saw in one of the walls in the gyms that I go. We go to Good Life Fitness, so shout out to the
Yeah.
people in Good Life
This
Fitness.
is not sponsored by
No,
Good
it's not
Life
sponsored
Fitness,
by
but
them, but I
would
love the
be
gym.
awesome.
And there's some quotes in the wall, the big wall at the gym that I go to, and one of them says that, in quotes, I see exercise as a form of self-respect. So, as you were saying, it teaches you so many things. And I also think that it's important to honor ourselves. The fact that we've
Yeah.
been given this body to live. And as Christians, we believe that this body was created by God, is part of a gift that He has given
Yeah.
to us. And therefore we ought to take care of this gift the best
Yeah.
way that we can. So
Yeah.
we are in that way honoring
Yeah.
the one who gave it to us.
Yeah.
And we're showing self-respect to ourselves for the gift that we've
Yeah.
received.
I can definitely attest to this, and I say it because, after years, after going on this physical fitness journey myself and getting to a point where I was very strong before I had Camila, like I was jumping
You're
and
almost getting your
pull
pull-ups
ups
too.
and chin-ups and
Yeah.
dips. I was doing so well,
Yeah.
like without bands.
Your push-ups. I remember when
My
you first hit the
push-ups.
10 push-ups straight in a row. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and like I was doing push-ups, like starting to do them raised, like
Yes,
my
yes, I remember.
it was fantastic. Like I was doing so great, and we were even like encouraging other young people to work out with us, and it was a lot of fun.
You were even keeping up with Fausto Murillo.
Ugh, Fausto Murillo, okay. It was, oh gosh.
This happened. So Fausto Murillo and Pamela Reeve, they saved our
Our pandemic. Oh my
our
gosh.
pandemic. Yes,
So basically, Fausto Murillo is this Colombian muscle
beast.
man. Like he's a beast. You see him on YouTube. He works out shirtless all the time, and the guy looks like he just ran a marathon, but then he's ready to go again. And he's the worst because he'll guide you through the workout, and he's that type of trainer who's like, "We're gonna do 10." And he starts
He's talking as
and
he's going.
talking and you're like, okay, and you're counting going and you get to 10 and he's like, and 1, 2.
Yeah.
And he starts counting like once you've already done like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
100
And then
you're
he
like,
goes,
bro,
10 más.
he says 10 more after you've gone to 10 and you're like, okay, fine, 10 more. And then he goes, 10 más. And oh my gosh, the worst. But that guy really did help us.
He did.
Going back to your point about self-respect, I was sharing the former context of my fitness journey because right now my journey is looking very different. I am 10 months, almost 10 months postpartum, and my fitness journey has felt like it's come to a big slowdown.
Yeah.
Workouts are looking very differently. I remember after like 6-7 weeks when the doctor gave me the okay that I could work out again. I remember trying to do like just ab rehabilitation here in the living room, and the way I was shaking and it hurt just to do simple movements, and I could barely like I just couldn't do much, and it was hard to kind of think about what I used to be able to do and what I was able to do now, and to see that big contrast. And at times I was a little discouraged, I'm not going to lie, but I think now in this phase that I'm in, I'm realizing more and more that taking time for myself, especially in the busyness of life of being a mom, of, doing all the things, I'm recognizing that it really working out and just taking care of myself to go outside or to move
Staying
and
active,
just
yeah.
take care of myself in that way. It's not just a time away from family and just to focus on me, but it really is a form of self-respect, of self-care, and just honoring everything that my body has already done, which has been to produce a life and to birth a baby and to hold and sustain life and then get back to how it was and now like breastfeeding. So it's my body has gone through so much, and I think the best way to tell my body that I love it so much for what it was able to do is by continuing to take care of it in that way.
And that way you show self-respect to yourself
yeah.
and taking care of yourself. That's awesome. Well, so as we are wrapping up the episode, tell our listeners one challenge that you want to give to them. For those that are currently in the fitness journey, give them a challenge. And for those that maybe have been in the train but are no longer there, or maybe have never been on the train, and by the train I mean exercising, what is an advice that you would give to them? One challenge.
My one challenge comes from the book Atomic Habits. And James Clear, the author, emphasizes this point of a 1% improvement. So often our goals tend to be far reaching and they can easily overwhelm us. So instead of our goals being, I need to work 5 times this week, I need to work out 5 times this week, sorry. Maybe our goal for this week can be, I want to work out one more day than I did last week. Or I want to make sure I work out today and take it one day at a time. So make sure you do a 1% improvement. So if yesterday I was only able to do maybe like a half an hour workout, maybe tomorrow challenge yourself to do 35-minute workout. I don't know. So just find small ways to improve, and those 1% improvements end up compounding over time. And when you look back, you will notice that you've improved so much, but it's because you went by 1% increments rather than reaching for the 100 and giving up halfway there.
Absolutely. Yeah. The journey to reaching your goals takes one first step and then another second step and then another step, right? Absolutely. So taking small steps, you say 1% change for the positive from the person that you were yesterday.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I like that. I guess my challenge would be for everybody to make the time. Make the time. I believe that we make time for the things that we value and that we find important. I know that life brings a lot as the day progresses. There's so much to do, so many responsibilities. And if we're hoping to find the time in the day, we will never find it because there's so much to do. So my challenge is that you will make the time. If you have a calendar, write it down in the calendar. If you follow, whatever it is that you got to do to make the time, because taking care of your health in whatever way that looks like is extremely important.
Yeah. And it could almost be like scheduling a date with yourself.
Yeah. Make the time. Awesome. So thank you everybody for listening. I hope that this conversation was of benefit to you in your journey of taking care of yourself and taking care of this pillar that is so important about our life, which is the physical pillar. Any other words that you want to say, baby, as we end?
Yeah, if you have any other comments about this episode, any questions, or even suggestions about any topics you'd like to see in future episodes, we encourage you to leave a comment below or reach out to us on Instagram or on our individual profiles as well. And we are always happy to receive your feedback. Again, if you liked what you saw, go ahead and subscribe, and we will see you again next time.
Yeah. Remember, mi casa es su casa.
Bye.